Once you know this secret, keep your mouth shut. For the power that is spoken too soon dissolves into the winds of doubt and contradiction. The hidden seed of truth grows in silence. The soil of the unseen is the richest ground, and there it must rest until the appointed hour. Many speak before the root has taken hold, and the seed is stolen by the birds of disbelief. But the one who guards their vision, who seals their lips with wisdom, sees the flower unfold in perfect order. Life is governed by laws, exact and unfailing. When you align with the law aligns with you. The word is creative, the thought is magnetic, and what you whisper into the ethers comes rushing back multiplied. Yet, every word is a decree, every utterance a command. The careless tongue scatters power, but the silent heart gathers strength. Silence is not weakness. Silence is a fortress where dreams are protected until their substance becomes form. For what is revealed too soon may be contested by doubt, and doubt is the thief of manifestation. The secret is not for the ears of the unready. It is not for the eyes clouded with fear. It belongs to the one who has learned to walk in certainty, who knows that the invisible is more real than the visible. The unseen blueprint shapes the house. The inner pattern carves the destiny. The invisible current pulls the ship to shore. Therefore, guard the invisible until it clothes itself in matter, until no argument can touch it, until it shines so brightly that no shadow can obscure it. When you know this secret, you become as a watchman on the wall of your own life. You do not proclaim your treasure in the marketplace. You do not cast pearls before the doubters. You hold your vision as sacred. You speak only when the word is law, when the vibration of your decree is backed by the certainty of spirit. For what you declare in faith becomes substance, but what you declare in fear becomes delay. Words build or they break. They open the way or they close it. So let the lips be still until the heart is sure. The great law is always working. Every thought is a seed. Every word is a command. Every silence is a preparation. When you have received a vision, a revelation, a knowing deep within, cherish it. Let it be hidden in the secret place of the Most High. Let it be nurtured in the quiet soil of your own spirit. Do not expose it to the winds of opposition, nor to the eyes of envy. For the unseen must be shielded until it grows strong enough to stand in the open, unshaken by doubt, untouched by fear. Therefore, once you know this secret, keep your mouth shut. For silence is golden, and in silence the seed of your destiny grows into its appointed harvest. The seed of truth grows in silence. When a seed is planted in the earth, no one rushes to dig it up and expose it to the air, demanding proof that it has begun to grow. To do so would destroy the very process by which it comes to life. The wisdom of nature reveals the wisdom of spirit. A seed must be hidden, quiet, undisturbed, nurtured by the dark soil and the unseen forces of growth. So it is with truth. When truth is sown into the heart, it begins as a seed, delicate and invisible, requiring the same reverence and the same silence. To expose it prematurely through restless words or careless declarations weakens its power and can strip it of its ability to take root. Silence is the guardian of truth, the sacred chamber where the divine seed begins its journey toward full expression. The seed of truth is not planted in the noise of the outer world, but in the stillness of the inner one. In the silence of mind, when the chatter of fear and doubt has subsided, the soil becomes fertile for divine ideas. The silence within is a rich earth, free from the weeds of contradiction, where the eternal word can sink deep and be absorbed. This silence is not emptiness but fullness, not absence but presence. It is a living quietness, resonant with power, where the smallest spark of truth begins to pulse with life. And just as a farmer does not question each day whether the seed is growing, but trusts the hidden work beneath the surface, so must the seeker of truth trust the silent process of spirit. Truth grows not through the force of constant repetition spoken into the world, but through the steady nourishment of faith. Words have power, but silence has incubation. The truth seed does not need to be announced to the doubting, nor defended against disbelief. It grows stronger when sheltered in the womb of quiet certainty. Each moment of silence acts as sunlight unseen, water unmeasured and soil unbroken. The secret life of truth is its greatest strength, for that which grows in silence develops roots deep and strong enough to withstand the winds of adversity. If spoken too soon, if dragged into the world of chatter and judgment, the seed may be uprooted by the winds of skepticism. But kept in silence, it matures unseen until the day it breaks forth, undeniable and self-sustaining. Consider the rhythm of life itself. The child in the womb grows in silence before a cry is ever heard. The dawn begins in the hush of night, before a single ray touches the horizon. Great works of art, profound revelations, mighty inventions. These all take form in the hidden silence of thought before they are expressed. Truth follows the same law. Silence is its workshop, its temple, its sanctuary. The seed of truth must rest in the inner temple of stillness, where divine forces attend to it, shaping it with precision until the perfect moment of expression. The silence holds it safe from interference, safe from contamination, safe from premature exposure. The one who understands this law does not fear silence. They welcome it, they honor it. They guard it as a treasure. They know that silence is not weakness but strength withheld, power unspent, truth concealed for its own protection. The seed of truth is not meant for display before it has grown. It is not meant to be debated or dissected in its infancy. It is meant to be nurtured with quiet certainty, with inner assurance that requires no external approval. To speak of it prematurely is to hand it over to the doubts of others, to the ridicule of the unseeing, to the corrosive forces of disbelief. But to keep it in silence is to allow the invisible powers to shape it into something undeniable. The soil of silence is sacred. Within it, divine order operates without disturbance. The seed of truth receives impressions, visions, confirmations in the inner world that cannot be touched by external noise. Each moment of stillness waters the seed. Each pause in speech strengthens its root. Each unspoken word preserves its purity. The silence becomes the womb where the seed is formed, layer upon layer, until it has grown strong enough to bear the weight of its own manifestation. Truth requires no defense in this stage. It does not argue, it does not strive, it rests in silence and grows naturally. As surely as the seed beneath the earth stretches toward the light without sound. When you hold the seed of truth in silence, you cooperate with the universal law. You declare through your quietness that you trust the unseen, that you rely upon divine timing, that you are not swayed by appearances or delays. Silence becomes your agreement with the law of growth. It says, I need not shout for this to be real. I need not announce what is already ordained. I need not seek validation from those who cannot see what I know within. The silence speaks louder than words ever could, for it carries with it the certainty that the seed is already alive, already unfolding, already destined to break the surface and reveal its form. The greatest truths are always born in silence. They are whispered into the receptive heart, not shouted in the streets. They are known in the quiet chamber of the soul, not proclaimed to the masses before their time. The seed of truth is a sacred trust, given to those who can keep it hidden, who can protect it from the corrosive power of premature exposure. The silence itself becomes a covenant between the soul and the divine, an agreement that what has been planted shall indeed grow, that the seed shall break forth when the hour is right, and that nothing shall hinder its appointed unfolding. Words are decrees that shape reality. Every syllable spoken carries the vibration of law, every utterance sets in motion currents of energy that return to the one who gave them life. The tongue is not idle, it is an instrument of creation. To speak is to command, whether one is aware of the command or not. The world is shaped not only by thought but by the sound of thought clothed in words. Words move into the invisible and call forth form. They impress the unseen substance and give it direction, color, and purpose. What is spoken in certainty is etched into the ethers, and the ethers do not forget. They return to the sender multiplied, pressed down, shaken together, running over. A word is not simply sound, it is seed. It drops into the fertile soil of the unseen, and there it germinates, unseen by the eye, but certain in its process. Many plant weeds with careless speech, saying what they do not wish to live, declaring what they do not desire to see. They do not know that each idle word creates a harvest. The law is exact, the law is unbending. Words are decrees that shape reality, whether spoken in jest, in anger, in despair, or in faith. Each decree summons a companion, for words are magnetic. They attract after their kind. A word of fear summons circumstances of fear. A word of faith summons manifestations of faith. The decree does not wander aimlessly, it obeys the command of the vibration that birthed it. When one understands the power of decree, one speaks with intention. No word is wasted. No sound is thrown into the void without recognition of its consequence. To declare is to decide. To speak is to set law in motion. Words are living things, clothed in energy, carrying within themselves the pattern of their own fulfillment. Once spoken, they move ahead, gathering substance, shaping conditions, drawing to themselves the material that will make them flesh. This is why the wise are careful with words. They do not declare limitation, lack, or fear. They do not call in what they do not desire. They stand guard at the gate of the tongue, releasing only that which aligns with their highest vision. Reality is not accidental. It is composed of decrees. The house, the field, the circumstance, the encounter, all are first drafted in the workshop of words. Long before the event appears, the decree was given. What a person continually says becomes the pattern of their world. If they speak lack, lack clothes itself in visible form. If they speak abundance, abundance rushes to take shape. The decree is impartial, it obeys with precision. The universe listens not to the wish but to the word. Words reveal what one has chosen to align with, and once revealed, the alignment manifests. Every great teaching has pointed to the power of the spoken word. The law of decree cannot be escaped. To bless is to release power for good. To curse is to release power for destruction. To affirm is to strengthen, to deny is to weaken. Each sound carries a charge. Each statement releases an influence. When a word is spoken with faith, it is as a hammer striking the invisible substance, shaping it into the form declared. When it is spoken with fear, it chisels away the structure of good, weakening what was being built. The decree either builds or destroys, opens the way or closes it, establishes harmony or invites chaos. To understand this is to accept responsibility for every utterance. Carelessness is no excuse, for the law is mechanical. Just as fire burns whether one respects it or not, words create whether one believes in their power or not. To say, "I am defeated," is to call defeat into substance. To say, "I am strong," is to summon strength from the unseen. To say, "I never succeed," is to write the script for repeated failure. To say, "Everything works together for my good," is to draw into reality a series of events that conspire toward good. The decree must align with desire if one is to live in harmony. Otherwise, the mouth works against the heart, scattering energy, creating conflict, and delaying fulfillment. Words are decrees, but not all decrees carry the same weight. The decree of the heart, spoken with conviction, is stronger than the decree of habit. The decree of faith, spoken without wavering, is more powerful than the decree of doubt muttered in passing. Yet all decrees shape reality, whether small or great. Every repeated phrase chisels deeper into the substance of life, until it becomes the structure of experience. The word that is backed by emotion and belief carries the greatest creative power. For emotion fuels the decree, belief anchors it, and repetition establishes it as law in the personal sphere. The wise cultivate speech as carefully as a gardener tends the soil. They uproot careless phrases, banish words of defeat, and replace them with decrees of strength, joy, and abundance. They understand that each sentence is a command given to the universe, each phrase a design etched into the blueprint of tomorrow. They do not waste words on gossip, complaint, or despair, for they know such seeds produce bitter fruit. They reserve the tongue for blessing, for affirming the good, for commanding alignment with divine order. To speak is to summon, and they summon only that which they wish to see clothed in matter. When one learns that words are decrees, silence becomes precious. One does not speak until the decree is chosen with clarity. Words are no longer weapons of reaction but tools of creation. Each decree is measured, considered, aligned with the highest good. This transforms ordinary speech into sacred act. Every conversation becomes a shaping of destiny. Every declaration a seed of future experience. The careless scatter weeds across their own path, but the deliberate plant gardens of beauty that bloom in their reality. The law is impartial, it fulfills both. The decree decides the harvest. The unseen listens always. Every whisper, every statement, every declaration is recorded in the great field of cause. Nothing spoken is lost. Nothing is wasted. All is gathered, all is returned. The decree once uttered does not vanish, it becomes substance. To live in harmony is to recognize this law and to use it with wisdom. Words are not idle. They are decrees that shape reality with precision and certainty. Doubt is the thief of manifestation. It slips in silently, often dressed as caution or reason, and begins its work of undoing the substance of what has been formed in the unseen. The law of creation is sure, unwavering, precise. What is decreed in faith takes root and grows. But doubt comes as a shadow to cut the roots, to weaken the stalk, to bend the tender plant before it can bear fruit. Doubt does not destroy the law, for the law is eternal, but it delays its outworking. It interrupts the current, scrambles the pattern, and introduces confusion where clarity once reigned. Faith builds, doubt dismantles. Faith calls, doubt dismisses. Faith gives life, doubt drains it away. Manifestation requires certainty. Certainty is the soil in which the seed of truth takes root. Certainty is the sun that warms it, the rain that nourishes it, the atmosphere that allows it to thrive. Doubt withholds the light, withholds the water, and dries the atmosphere. Nothing grows in the field of doubt, for doubt says, perhaps it will not work, perhaps it is too much, perhaps it is not meant for me. Doubt speaks in questions that weaken the decree. Doubt whispers contradictions into the soil of the mind until the roots of faith are tangled. Every delay, every collapse of a vision, every deferred hope can be traced to doubt entering and gaining ground. The mind that entertains doubt becomes a divided house. One moment it speaks the word of faith, the next it contradicts it with the language of fear. Such a house cannot stand, for it is built on two opposing foundations. The decree of faith and the decree of doubt cannot coexist. The law responds to the strongest vibration, and often it is doubt, with its intensity of fear and anxiety, that gains dominance. The individual wonders why manifestation lingers, why results do not appear, unaware that each word of doubt cancels the decree of faith. The tongue calls it forth, then pushes it away. The heart opens the door, then shuts it again. Faith must be unbroken, steady, unwavering. The moment doubt is entertained, the current is interrupted. Doubt is subtle. It does not always shout, it often whispers. It suggests that time has been too long, that the evidence is not appearing, that the law does not work in this case. It feeds on appearances, it lives on delays, it thrives on uncertainty. The doubting mind keeps its eyes on the outer world and says, nothing has changed, therefore nothing is happening. But the unseen is always at work. The invisible is always building, the hidden process is always moving toward completion. Doubt cannot see this, so it denies it. Faith trusts it, so it sustains it. The two are in constant conflict, and only one can rule. The thief of manifestation enters when vigilance is lost. The moment one allows fear to color the vision, the decree begins to falter. The moment one repeats words of hesitation, the decree weakens. The moment one gives more power to appearances than to the unseen, the substance withdraws. Doubt does not merely delay. It attracts conditions that mirror its own vibration. The one who doubts abundance attracts lack. The one who doubts health attracts weakness. The one who doubts harmony attracts conflict. Doubt sets a decree just as surely as faith does, for the law responds to both. Doubt is faith in the wrong direction, faith inverted, faith invested in fear instead of fulfillment. To guard against doubt is to stand as a sentinel at the door of the mind. Every thought must be weighed, every word examined. If the seed of doubt appears, it must be uprooted at once. The longer it remains, the deeper its roots grow. The garden of the heart must be tended with vigilance, for doubt is a persistent intruder. Faith requires reinforcement, affirmation, repetition, certainty. Doubt requires only a crack in the wall to enter. The wise do not allow it lodging, they deny it instantly, they replace it with truth. They affirm the law, they strengthen their decree. For doubt cannot remain where certainty reigns, and certainty cannot flourish where doubt is entertained. Doubt thrives on delay, but delay is not denial. The law of manifestation operates in divine timing. What is decreed in faith is building strength, gathering form, aligning conditions. The doubting mind interprets the waiting as absence, but the faithful mind sees it as preparation. Faith says, "It is already done in the unseen, it must appear in the seen." Doubt says, "It may never happen, it is too late. It is too difficult." These are the two voices contending for the field of manifestation. The voice that is believed becomes the master. The voice that is repeated becomes the decree. The voice that dominates becomes the reality. Doubt weakens not because it is stronger than faith, but because it is often given more attention. The mind feeds it, rehearses it, circles around it, expands it. Faith requires focus, but doubt thrives on distraction. The individual who is double-minded, who prays in faith but lives in fear, feeds both forces and wonders why nothing changes. But the law is not mocked. The decree must be won. The vibration must be steady. The word must be consistent. Faith must hold the field without interruption if manifestation is to appear without hindrance. Every soul must choose between faith and doubt in the moment of testing. When appearances deny the promise, doubt presses hardest. When the harvest seems far, doubt whispers louder. But the unseen law remains unchanged. What has been spoken in faith is alive. What has been decreed in certainty is already forming. Doubt is the thief that seeks to steal the harvest before it ripens. It tempts the hand to pluck up the seed, to abandon the vision, to cancel the decree. But those who resist doubt, who strengthen faith, who guard the decree with unwavering certainty, see the manifestation break forth in its time. Guard the unseen until it becomes seen. The first movements of creation are always invisible. The roots of the tree spread beneath the soil before the branches touch the air. The foundation of the house is laid in the earth before the walls rise into view. The blueprint is drawn long before the building takes shape. So it is with every vision, every dream, every truth. It begins in the unseen realm, hidden from the eyes of the world, fragile in its early form yet charged with infinite potential. To expose it too quickly is to risk its destruction. To share it before it is established is to invite interference. To guard the unseen is to allow it the sacred space it requires to take form without obstruction. The unseen is the womb of creation. Within it, ideas stir, visions form, patterns align. To guard this realm is to recognize its holiness. One does not carelessly expose a newborn to harsh winds. One protects it until it grows strong enough to endure. In the same way, the unseen must be kept safe from the storm of doubt, from the chill of criticism, from the winds of disbelief. When you hold your vision close, hidden in the sanctuary of your heart, you nourish it with faith. Faith is the warmth that sustains it, silence is the shelter that protects it, and patience is the ground in which it strengthens. Those who reveal too much, too soon, scatter the power of their vision. But those who guard it within find it becomes unshakable. Every manifestation passes through this hidden stage. The sculptor sees the statue within the stone before the first chisel strikes. The musician hears the melody before a note is written. The inventor envisions the mechanism before a piece of metal is shaped. If they were to cast these visions before unready ears, they would face mockery, misunderstanding, disbelief. Many would trample what they cannot perceive. Therefore the wise keep their silence, letting the unseen ripen until it cannot be denied. To guard the unseen is to honor the process of becoming. It is to accept that life unfolds from within outward, from invisible to visible, from spirit to matter. Guarding the unseen requires discipline. The mind is often eager to speak, eager to prove, eager to seek validation. Yet premature words weaken the inner power. Every spoken word directs energy outward, and when energy is scattered in explanations, less remains to form the vision. Silence preserves strength. Silence concentrates power. Silence keeps the seed in the soil until the roots are deep. The more one guards the unseen, the more force it gathers, until it is unstoppable. The unseen guarded in stillness becomes a mighty current flowing beneath the surface, ready to burst forth in visible form. The unseen is vulnerable not because it is weak, but because it is subtle. It cannot be grasped by those who live only in the outer world. They demand proof, they ask for evidence, they measure by appearances. To share the unseen with them is to invite their doubt, their fear, their dismissal. These vibrations can cling to the seed, slowing its growth. This is why the sacred must be kept sacred, the vision hidden until it shines of itself. When the unseen becomes seen, no argument can diminish it. Until then, it must be guarded as treasure, kept in silence, nourished by faith. Guarding the unseen does not mean neglecting it. On the contrary, it means giving it more attention, more reverence, more care. The vision must be fed daily with affirmations, clothed in gratitude, strengthened with certainty. To guard it is to water it without displaying it, to tend it without exposing it, to believe in it without announcing it. The unseen grows in strength each time it is affirmed within. It grows in clarity each time it is imagined vividly. It grows in certainty each time it is trusted without explanation. To guard it is to hold it close, where no external voice can reach it. The unseen must be honored as real, though invisible. To treat it as less than real is to weaken it. To guard it is to walk as if it already exists. To speak as if it is already accomplished. To act in alignment with its fulfillment, yet without revealing it prematurely. The unseen gathers substance as belief fuels it, as imagination shapes it, as silence shelters it. Guarding it ensures that nothing interrupts this gathering, nothing disperses the energy, nothing contradicts the pattern forming in the invisible. Every creator, whether artist, thinker, dreamer, or builder, has known this principle. The unseen is the secret workshop where the true work is done. The outer expression is only the final stage. To guard the unseen is to protect the workshop, to bar the door against intruders, to allow the process to complete without interruption. Those who expose their work too soon find themselves drained by criticism, burdened by questions, weakened by disbelief. Those who guard it remain strong, centered, certain until the work speaks for itself. Guarding the unseen requires trust in divine order. It means accepting that the invisible process is enough, that unseen forces are aligning without the need for constant explanation. It means refusing to hand over your treasure for others to weigh and judge. It means believing that when the time is right, the unseen will naturally become seen, and until then, it is safer in silence. Guarding is not withholding from fear, but protecting from interference. It is an act of reverence, of faith, of wisdom. To guard the unseen until it becomes seen is to live in alignment with the law of growth. Just as no one digs up the seed each day to check its progress, so the wise do not expose their vision before it is ready. They trust the hidden process. They respect the mystery, they keep the silence. They guard the unseen until it has gathered enough power to manifest beyond denial, until it has become so solid within that nothing outside can shake it, until it is clothed in form and visible to all. Silence is the fortress of destiny. Within silence lies the hidden strength that protects the seed of every dream until it is ready to emerge. Silence is not emptiness but fullness contained, not weakness but power withheld, not absence but the womb of presence. The one who learns to dwell in silence discovers that it is a shield, a sanctuary, a fortress around the delicate beginnings of destiny. The world demands words, explanations, evidence, but silence offers none. Silence keeps the treasure hidden. Silence refuses to scatter its power. Silence holds steady while forces of doubt and contradiction rage outside. Silence is a wall that cannot be penetrated, a gate that cannot be forced, a chamber where the vision rests untouched by the noise of the outer world. Destiny begins as a whisper in the soul, a spark in the unseen. It is fragile in its infancy, vulnerable to the voices of disbelief, the questions of reason, the skepticism of the world. If exposed too soon, It can be weakened, delayed, even stolen. But silence protects it. Silence says nothing to those who cannot understand. Silence does not argue with the doubter. Silence does not justify itself to the critic. Silence preserves the energy of destiny by keeping it hidden within the fortress of stillness until it grows strong enough to stand on its own. Every word spoken outwardly is energy released, but every word withheld in silence is energy stored, concentrated, guarded. Destiny guarded by silence becomes unstoppable. The fortress of silence is built within. It is not mere absence of sound, but a chosen restraint, a deliberate act of power. To keep silent is not to lack words, it is to master them. To refrain from speech is not to be powerless, it is to hold power in reserve. Silence is mastery, not deficiency. It is the deliberate guarding of the creative force. When silence surrounds a vision, no voice of doubt can reach it. When silence protects a dream, no criticism can pierce it. When silence holds destiny within its walls, it is safe from all intruders. The fortress is invisible, yet impenetrable. Silence is misunderstood by the unwise. They mistake it for passivity, but silence is activity of the highest order. In silence, the invisible currents of creation are at work, shaping, aligning, preparing. In silence, the vision is watered by faith, nourished by certainty, strengthened by unseen forces. The fortress of silence is alive with activity, though no sound is heard. The silence of a seed in the soil is not lifeless, but full of movement as roots push downward and shoots press upward. So it is with silence in the soul. It shelters the unseen process that must not be interrupted. Every word spoken prematurely is a door open to interference. Every declaration cast before those who do not understand is a weakening of power. But silence refuses entry. Silence allows no contradiction, no ridicule, no doubt to touch what is forming. Silence guards the destiny until it is mature. When it is time, destiny reveals itself, not by announcement but by manifestation. The fortress of silence opens its gates only when the vision has become undeniable, when no argument can diminish it, when no opposition can stop it. Until then, silence is its shield. The wise learn to live within this fortress. They do not seek validation in words. They do not display their treasure before it has taken form. They do not waste energy explaining what is yet unseen. They move in silence. They build in silence, they trust in silence. Their strength is not in speech, but in the certainty that does not need to be spoken. They understand that silence itself is creative, for it keeps the decree unbroken, the vision untouched, the destiny secure. Silence is also the fortress of the self. In silence, the soul regains its center, its clarity, its strength. The noise of the world scatters energy, divides attention, weakens resolve. But silence gathers it back. Silence focuses, restores, renews. In silence, the voice of the inner guide can be heard clearly, unclouded by distraction. The fortress of silence is not only protection from the outer world, but a sanctuary for communion with the inner. Here destiny speaks. Here certainty grows, here faith is renewed. The one who dwells in silence becomes unshakable, because they are aligned with the unseen order that governs all things. The fortress of silence is not meant to be broken by impatience. Many lose their destiny by speaking too soon, revealing too early, exposing what is not yet ready. They are urged by the need for recognition, by the hunger for validation, by the pressure of others to explain. But destiny is not shaped by the demands of others. It is shaped in silence. To leave the fortress too soon is to weaken the destiny itself. To remain within it until the appointed hour is to ensure its perfect unfolding. Patience keeps the walls strong. Trust keeps the gates closed. Faith keeps the treasure safe. Silence does not mean withdrawal from life. It means carrying a secret chamber within, a hidden fortress where destiny is guarded. One may speak, one may act, one may live among others, but the innermost vision is kept within the fortress. It is not displayed, not discussed, not scattered. It is fed quietly, strengthened daily, hidden until it emerges clothed in reality. In this way, the fortress of silence serves its purpose, holding destiny until it can no longer be denied. Silence is golden because it cannot be stolen. Words can be twisted, explanations can be argued, but silence cannot be touched. Silence is power because it does not waste itself. Silence is safety because it does not expose what must remain hidden. Silence is strength because it withholds until the right moment. The fortress of silence is the guardian of destiny, keeping it pure, keeping it strong, keeping it unshaken, until it is ready to step into the light. Do you want me to make this more lyrical an affirmation? Like said with repeated chants such as, silence is, woven throughout. Or keep it in this steady, declarative rhythm.